Good morning. 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 Good morning.
What is happening, everybody? Welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons. Let me just turn off this gorgeous music. There you go. How's everybody doing today? Raul is just a little late, a little tardy. He had a big night last night, Valentine's Day. Partying it up. I'm sure. I don't know. I'm just making that up. We'll we'll rag him about it when he gets here. How you doing, Pete? And we have a special guest. Pete, you're not at home. That's not your track. Where you're at?
No,
And who is this fine gentleman next to you?
I'm in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin. G Money Smackdown. My brother Gerard. We're in his basement.
Hey, everybody.
In front of his track. We're hanging out. President's Day weekend down here in the U.S., so we came up to visit the Milwaukee.
Nice. President's Day weekend? That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's an actual thing? You guys take time off for that? That's like a... Get Monday off? Get Friday
banks off? Do. Schools do. They get Monday off. I don't have Monday off.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay. Most people don't have it off work.
All right, we got Raul in the house. Let me just transition over to him. Let's do this. There he is.
Sorry for being late.
It's all good, brother. See, I told you it was all Valentine's Day up. He's still got his red shirt on. He's got his red hat.
He's ready to roll.
He looks like he needs a coffee. You okay, dude?
I'm fine.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I'm good.
That wasn't very convincing, Roll.
Yeah. We hope you guys had a great weekend. If you were celebrating with loved ones or non-loved ones or multiple loved ones, it's all good. How about we get to the comments? Yeah. Say hello to everybody.
Go to the chat. Let's do a good morning.
All right, let's go do our regular good morning. White Wolf is in the house. I'm here for the party. Nice. MB Auto Detail, as always. Thank you, brother, for being here so fast. Oh my God, so dedicated. And congratulations, So Fast, for winning. I believe it was on Nico's show, wasn't it? So Fast won the. He won your garage.
That's what it was. Yeah.
It was really awesome,
buddy.
We got Slightly Mad in the house. You guys, how you doing? Lightechslots.ca. Honestly, IRR gets you 10%. Warren, thank you for being here. I got to throw that in there. Ripple's in the house. Well, I mean, in literally my house upstairs. How's everybody doing? Big Oak. Hey, how you doing, my fellow slot car nerds? Nerding out, buddy. I told you I'd wear it. He didn't think I was going to wear my Captain Picard pajama top for the Valentine's Day. But I told him I would, and I don't, don't dare me because I'll do it. I'll buy more slot cars. I'll do it. Radhead's in the house. How you doing, buddy? Radhead's in the house. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for being here. Mike, good to see you. What's going on? Everyone's just saying hi to each other. That's awesome. That's awesome. Am I missing anybody? I apologize. Andy and Ruben Racing. How you doing? Andy and Ruben. Good, good. You guys made it. So awesome. Clearwater, Greg, good to see you. We're just like skimming by here. You guys are just like clearly the young brother. Yeah, clearly the younger brother. Absolutely. People are noticing the difference. Cyberg, how you doing, man?
What's that supposed to mean?
Carlos is in the house. Slakar dude, good afternoon. How you doing? Nico, you made it. Awesome, buddy. Good to see you. We got Mark Petch. We got Shallowfish. Good run, Shallowfish, on the GRL. Good job. What else is going on? QQ. Joe, are you a Trekkie or a Trekker? But
Doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
I don't know. I don't know what the
Trekkies are weird.
is. I'm just being weird.
We're on Joe's channel, so I can say it.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. It's all good. Okay, Rebel's in the house. Good to see Rebel.
Greg says I don't look so good this morning. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. As per usual, when I'm hanging out with my brother, we were racing until like 3:15 in the morning. So yeah, about 4.5 hours of sleep.
Weren't you drinking tin cans this morning? Did I see those tall, or was that like a Long Island iced tea? What was Gerard drinking this morning?
It's just a mug. It looks like a can, but it's just a mug.
All good. All good.
Only coffee this morning. Although that first time we did this show from my dad's basement when I was in Milwaukee, we were drinking Bloody Marys.
Yeah, that's it. I'm like, what? It's not even.
That was hot. Yeah,
you're an hour earlier than me. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Slightly Mad says, my mistake. It's the baldly Trek captain that makes more sense. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I got to shave it. But anyways, with my Ferrari cap. And if Big Oak is watching, I got my pineapple mug going on. Anyways, it's an inside joke. Oh, that was my stomach. I'm really hungry. Let's hide that. What's going on? Guys, we've got Pete's younger brother in the house. That is his track behind us. We are going to ask him some questions because we have another young and new digital racer. Well, not really new. You guys come from a slot car family, right? Like you guys have been slot carring for quite a while in the HO, right?
Yeah, kind of. We had them growing up, like everybody did. We had a track that we burned up when we were little, and then I've had my HO track for I don't know 4 or 5 years now. So yeah, we've been playing around with that. It's in my dad's house now, but
right on. So Gerard, this is your first Carrera 132?
Yeah.
In the 132 scale, yeah. How you liking it?
I love it. Once I had the space, I was like, oh yeah, I can definitely do this. And then it's awesome. It's been fun to play around with. Made a sweet track that I'm really enjoying, and was kind of in a rush to get to, doing some scenery and whatnot. So I decided on a track and just kind of started going to town.
Okay, cool. Are you guys so you're like your bro? You guys enjoy the scenery as well? What do you enjoy more, building scenery or racing?
Probably a bit of both. Like since I'm a lot of times just by myself during the week, I'll do a lot of the scenery and stuff, and then my parents or friends coming over or something, then I'm doing the racing. But the scenery, it's just since racing with ghost cars and by myself is gets rather not old, but then I just like to switch back and forth. So
the dog's causing a ruckus.
The dog cousins are like, normally my dog, we brought her with us, and normally my dog just sleeps through the whole show, doesn't even like make an appearance. And of course this morning she's perky because she's hanging out here with her dog cousin, and they haven't roughhoused the entire 24 hours we've been here, but now as soon as the camera goes on, they want to bark and wrestle.
Are we going to be able to see the track? Or you guys are set up to?
No, I mean, other than
it extends. Look at that, huge, massive.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome.
Did a hell of a job with the layout. It's a lot of fun. It's the first time I've raced on it. Last time I was here, we just set up like a temporary one. So it's the first time I've raced on it with this current layout, and it's a It's tough, but it's a blast.
Oh, that's awesome. Dude. So how long is how big is your table? How long is your track? Let's go. Let's
I
get
have
into the deets.
so I had two 4x8 tables and then one 4x4 table.
Okay.
And then there's a gap like right over here in
Mhm.
between the 4x8 and the 4x4. So
Okay.
it's not exactly square, obviously, or rectangular. Um, and so I'm probably gonna build one more table to make some room for some of the shoulders are hanging off the edge and whatnot.
Okay.
But
So it's basically an 8x16 with a 4x4 lip on the side or extension.
yeah, yeah, a little
No.
bit like
12 by 8.
Yeah,
12,
12 by
okay.
8.
Because
Yeah.
it's a 8-foot table there and then a 4-foot table here. So that's the long section.
Oh,
And
okay,
then
okay.
A 4x8 right here, kind of in the middle of those.
Oh, it's in the middle. Okay, they're not. Sorry, because the depth of field, I can't really. Okay.
Yeah, there's like a little outcropping back there.
Oh, right on, right on. And how long is the track? Did you build it all by eye, or did you use a planner?
I did it mostly by eye and then kind of combined. I couldn't get it to line up, so then I went into the planner and went to town.
Okay, cool. Sorry, did you say how long it was?
I don't.
It's
Not
in the
sure.
it's in the software, and
Yeah.
we have it somewhere. But yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
were
You just
I was
figured it.
just thinking about that. I was like, I know Joe's going to ask it, and everybody always asks, and I haven't.
Well, I just want to know if your brother has a bigger track than you. That's all. Just.
Track, yes. Other things, no.
Oh, okay. For Gerard. So how many cars how many cars are you already in, Gerard?
I think I have 10 or 12.
That's pretty good.
He went deep fast.
Yeah, that's
He caught up to me real quick.
because you joined the Discord about it was last year. It was like December of last year, no?
Yeah.
A couple
Yeah,
months
like
ago.
that
So
was
you
like right about when I got the track. I joined up right away because I was like, all right,
Yeah.
well now I know what everybody's talking about.
HSF, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining.
Well, it was like a year ago that
Yeah.
Where were we? I took him to one of the hobby shops or something, and he bought a car for my track. So he had a car at my house for forever, and so and it was like his car that nobody else raced unless he was coming over, and as soon as he did that, I was like, it's only a matter of time till he has room and has a track of his own, and then sure enough, first chance I got, I brought that thing back to him.
All right, we already got some heckling from Big Oak. He's egging you on. He's like, those are some rookie numbers, G-Money.
In car count.
Yeah.
Work in progress. Work in progress.
If you guys haven't met Mike from Big Oak, he's definitely an enabler. So if you're feeling low and you don't feel like, maybe you should slow down on car buying or whatever, you talk to Big Oak and he'll motivate you to buy more cars. Trust me. He'll give you the reasons.
He'll straighten you out real quick.
Exactly. Slot Journal saying nice big bright space for running cars for sure. Absolutely. That looks like a nice lit up area.
Yeah, this room
Very
is
cool.
fantastic.
What's your favorite feature right now of the of your track? Have you gone into the Smart Race already, or are you still using just a regular lap counter?
Yeah, using Smart Race. Honestly, probably just a really long straight, and it's like kind of not sharp curves going into it and coming out of it, so you can really rip going into.
Okay. Did you think about it all about bank curves, or were you like that in that decision process? How when you got into the Carrera thing, was your brother just basically giving you the hands down, like the lowdown, or what was your thought process when building your track?
Yeah, it was mainly using as many of the pieces that I had, and using as much of my tables as I could.
Okay.
So, like, I had another track that utilized most of it, but I think I shared it in Discord, and it was just the overhangs in some spots were just too big that it made the line of sights just really tough from some spots on the track.
Okay.
so I kind of just combined what I liked about that, like the long straight into the pit and that kind of thing, and just rearranged it a little bit so that it filled out the tables a little better, and didn't overlap so much. So now it crosses under just like 2 spots.
Oh, cool.
And so it's just the line of sight's way better.
Awesome. Okay, so you picked up on that pretty quick. That's awesome. A lot of people use that, I think, as their guidelines, like those, and not to insult anybody, but sometimes people don't have them as space, so they do like a lot of like spaghetti tracks. And then a criteria for my track was, I got a 12-foot table and I can easily overcross a lot of things, but I really wanted line of sight, like most people, and I sacrificed one overpass just to get a bit more extra space. If not, my track would have been really short, right? That's
kind of
pretty
one of
awesome.
those things too that like you always when you first get started, you want to cram as much track as you can on the table. And I remember some of the designs he initially sent me. I was like, that's great, and you got a long lap length, but it's going to be a lot of braking and a lot of slowing down on those curves because it's curve.
How many R1s you got on that track?
1, 2.
Few. There's a few.
Pretty, yeah, good amount. There's like
Only
like,
Joe is Joe is like a drill sergeant. It's like when he sits down, he's not doing an interview. He's doing an interrogation right now.
How many R1s?
It's like
How many magnets in those cars? Are those tires trued? We're not there yet.
Like, let the man take you through his track. Like, what was your thought process about when you were building the track? When laying it down, what was your thought process? Were you looking? Did you have any inspiration from any rail racetracks or anything that you had seen before?
No, not really. I think it was just trying to make sure I had long straights and trying to get some different levels, different elevation changes.
So you have 2 elevation changes or just one?
Just the one. So it goes down at the end of the straight here, and then it goes back up right before the long straight, kind of right over my shoulder there.
Yeah, I see you're using the blue XPS foam. Are you carving that out, or what's your plan there? Are you gonna putty it? Are you gonna carve it out? What's the plan?
Yeah, so like I'll probably and my dog's just saying hello.
It's all good.
So I'll probably, for the big section back there, I'll probably just do like basically walls and then putty the walls and then paint it up and put some scenery on. One section I carved out and did like it's like a curved thing, and I've got like a bar underneath it. I'll post some pictures in Discord, but I puttied it all and then cut bricks out of the putty and then covered it in rocks so that it all looks like it's kind of like a brick wall.
Nice.
That's awesome. We got a question just quickly. Big Oak's asking, what set did you start with?
The Inferno of Speed. It was like on sale at the end of last year, so I was like, yep, okay, that's my end. And it has the really cool Ferraris, so there's some sweet cars to start with.
Weren't we talking about that, Pete, that the Inferno Speed was like the best bang for the buck?
Yeah, it's when he was debating between like 3 sets, and we were trying to decide if like more controllers or more cars or more track, and that's when I was like, I think the like main point when we were going through it, because I was going through it with somebody else at the same time, having that discussion, and it was like a long, like when I got mine, I was super excited about it because it had such a long lane length in that starter set, but then you very quickly learn that all of the turns in those starter sets are R1s. And so it's great to have a long lane length, but if it's doing lots of back and forth on those like track plans in the box, that means it's a lot of R1s. And so then you pigeonhole yourself a little bit. You wind up not using those, which is funny because I had a bunch of R1s left over that I didn't use on my layout, and I brought them up here, and we put them to use.
Yeah. That's all good. Oh my goodness. Are you So what are your fastest cars right now? Like, are you keeping track? And are you like your brother Mags in? I'm assuming your Mag-in family.
Yeah. I have got the magnets. So I was able to, like, before last night, I had only put silicone on one of my cars, but then all of the others I was running stocks. So that was like by far I could race that car, a second faster. But last night we put urethanes on that car, along with several others, and I was able to beat the silicone time by like a whole second. So
Well, that's because the other car, because the silicone needs to warm up. You didn't give it a fair chance.
Buddy, you're going the right way. Don't
No.
listen to
Yeah,
the
no,
man. Don't
Yep.
listen to that
No,
stuff.
you've
was
got
like,
a bunch
this
of
is-
silicone tires that your brother's about to give you for free because he's going to switch over all his tires, and that track
No.
is nice and clean and lit up. Don't be a dirty
Listen,
racer like your brother.
I don't
No,
know.
dude,
I'm
Clean and
I'm
that's got to do
sold.
with anything. You
It's
just
funny.
stay out of it.
It's funny
You're
because
doing
last
good.
night.
You're doing good. Go urethane. You'll be well rewarded. It is the future. This guy with silicone, some space age piece of crap, kind of. Anyway, no.
I want to apologize to Marty that you have to hear this negativity. I saw you popped into the.
Oh
the chat.
God!
How you doing? I'm
He's
so
always
sorry,
pulling
Marty.
the Marty card when we talk
I know.
about silicone.
It's like-
Sorry, Marty,
like,
but
it's
he
just like
always
because-
uses you.
It's like it's a safety blanket. Oh no, somebody's
Yeah, but Marty does it too. Like, sorry, Marty, but yeah, he always uses.
Marty's
that
got
as the
legitimate
excuse.
reasons for what he's doing it for. You have none. Zero. Zilch. Nada.
Anyways, changing subject here. Big Oak Raceway says, so then only 8 cars after the set purchase. Got it. Get your game up, kid. See what I tell you? He's got motivation.
I'm working on it. Don't
No,
worry.
don't fall for it.
I like this
Don't
one.
fall for it.
I like this one the bestest. Just say no to silicones. Just say no.
It is funny because as soon as so I just have my little like tire cleaner and I put a sandpaper on there. So we just sanded them down. We didn't like do a full truing, just really just got them a little bit better. And immediately, that's my dad. He's watching from his house. But as soon as he put it on, and I was like, dude, I can tell, like, this is going to be fast. It's going to be fast. And like 3 laps in, he beats the track record by a second. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be good ammo for Joe tomorrow.
Well, wait a minute. Which car? So which cars again?
That was the Audi R8.
With the silicones?
No, with
Yeah,
the
so
urethane.
I had set the track record with the silicones, and then I put the urethane on it and beat that track record by
Well, yeah, because the motor's a little bit more broken in. The car's warmed up. You gotta compare apples to apples. I mean, get another
The stars
R8.
aligned. The track got nice and slick, and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's okay,
All right.
Joe. It's
Whatever.
okay, Joe. All right, Joe.
Anyways, it's fine. So are you're gonna go the urethane route?
Yeah.
he ordered a pile of them.
Yeah.
So he's committed.
Did you guys go? So did you guys go Paul Gage or did you guys go Bobcat?
Paul Gage.
Paul Gage. Okay.
At least that's what I went. Yeah. He didn't have all the ones that I needed, and then he did, and so I was just like, all right, pull the trigger, let's get them all.
Yeah, that's the best way. Save on shipping. It took me a while to realize. Well, it took me one order to realize ordering just one pair of silicones. I'm like, wow, that was really expensive for one pair. I better wait, stock up, and then order a bunch, especially that they're imported from the good US of A. But yeah, no, that's awesome.
Paul Gage is Canadian too. You could have saved a lot in shipping, Joe. Just saying. Anyway,
I'm not a urethane supporter. I mean, we know this. I'm not. And if I'm going to switch out my tires, I'm going to switch. To actual
poor
rubber.
Jen. Jen has to live with your
Leave Jen
silicone-
out of this.
Jen has to live with your silicone deficiencies. I feel
My
very
silicone
sad.
deficiencies. Yeah.
I mean, she needs to drive a rail car at some point. So
Massimo had sent me some when I got this car. Okay, Massimo had there was still actually not Massimo but Warren, because this is Massimo's old car. There was Paul Gage on here, and I tried them out, and they sucked.
Coming in for support.
And they sucked. Here you go. Jen's coming in for support.
Oh.
There we go.
Bringing in the big guns. All right.
Silicones.
Morning.
Morning.
Good
Jen.
morning.
I'm actually heading out in 5 minutes, so I'm just coming down to let you know that You can talk all you want about how much everything costs, but I'm going to hear it all when it's played back.
Yeah, that's
She
fine.
didn't come
No,
back.
don't throw me under the bus. Everyone's gonna throw me under the bus.
That's the funny part.
This is
I
excellent.
thought she's gonna come and say you can talk all you want, but
No, but I
silicones
like
are
the
the greatest.
silicones. I like the silicones.
No, you haven't raced the proper stuff, Jen. You can't
We
say
did.
that.
We have.
No,
At
you
your
haven't.
house, Raul, where I couldn't stay on the track.
My house.
At your house, in your
Did
basement,
you not
when
beat
the
Joe?
car
Did
flew
you
off
not
and
beat
hit him
Joe
in
at
the...
my house? Did you not beat Joe at my house?
When she came to your house, we raced.
Yeah.
and she
Did
couldn't
she
stay on the
not
track.
beat you at my house? Was she not driving better than you?
Okay, that's not what we're talking about.
I
Hold
mean-
That's
on,
not
that's
saying
what we're
much
talking
though, from what I've heard.
I mean, like, not my track wasn't maybe optimized. I'm not gonna say my track was the greatest track. So, and then maybe I've not been as clean. And Joe did damage my track too by crashing into it and breaking it.
Okay,
I've
are we
never,
gonna-
nobody
Thanks,
else
Chris.
has broken my track before. So
We have to
watch
bring that
out.
up. Your track- that
If
track
he
you took it
comes
down, it's
over,
over.
be careful. That's all I'm gonna say. If he does come over, be careful because that's what happens. He likes to break tracks. I've never seen it before, but you know. Yeah. So I mean,
We're
my
here to
track
talk
is not the
with
best.
Gerard.
Jen. I will be very honest. I don't think he had the best experience driving my track, but that is not a true representation of urethanes. Plus, none of my cars were actually ready to go. But next time you come, because I'm now starting this, we're doing proper tuning on the cars and getting this IROC series ready for our events company. You will have good cars to run with all urethane, so don't worry about it. But we'll be also racing 124s. You'll get to feel
I'm
what
ready. I'm ready for
real
it all.
nice,
I'm
heavy
Yeah,
cars
we gotta
are.
practice our 124 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a team.
Sure doesn't seem like it.
Actually, I got to run because I'm going to Pilates, but I just want to add that this shirt causes a lot of fights between
Oh.
us. I hate Star Trek, but I bought him this shirt for Christmas.
Hey, I knew
2
I liked
years
you,
ago.
Jen.
But him and my daughter,
We love this shirt because like we'll be eating it. It's okay. Well, it's slot cars. We'll talk about slot cars.
just then I
Whatever.
did it.
We'll be like sitting in the couch and we're like, oh, I want a glass of water. Me too. And we'll be like, oh, mom's in the kitchen. We'll be like, maintenance. They'll throw something from the kitchen. Get it yourself. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
now I know why she doesn't
Bye,
like
love
Star
you.
Trek.
Mwah.
Love you too. What'd you get me for Valentine's Day? Exactly.
All right.
Oh,
I got you a slot car. Hold on here. I got you. Here you go.
What was that?
It's a slot.
Alright.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Yeah. Special
All right, I'm
appearance.
glad
we,
that's
all,
over.
we all thought she was coming down to back you up on silicone. So
Yeah.
She's just like, I listened to all the money.
Yeah, that was a great support right there.
That was
Uh,
epic.
Even everyone in the chat, you guys are awesome. Honestly, like the banter and the fact that Jen feels accepted in this community. Honestly, it's really great that we get to joke around about all this stuff. And yeah, she kicks my butt on Mondays, and that's just what it is. And yeah, so thank you guys for that. Thank you for all being good sports about it. Honestly, and yeah, let's continue back to our special guest, Gerard, to get back to his track. Don't the red shirts always die in the movies? Yeah, that's true. But I'm the captain. So we were talking about truing. So did you buy yourself for your things? Did you buy yourself a tire truer? Are we going down that rabbit hole now?
No, not yet. So I wanted to see how this works. Last night it worked pretty well. He has a
Sandpaper on track is
printed
the
one,
best.
like a cleaner, just sandpaper.
Oh,
That
okay,
one-
yeah. That's the one we printed together. Yeah.
Yeah, I printed it a long time ago when I think when Dusty first got a 3D printer. This was like one of the first things that Marty showed. And I was like, that is rad. So I printed immediately. And I've always had this like insert with the sandpaper on it, but I never really used it because I was on silicones and so didn't really need it. And then, yeah, we gave it a shot with the Paul Gauges last night. And it worked way better than I could have imagined. I think I still want to try a tire truer, and I'm going to talk him into it. I think he's a little nervous about it. But for now, that works beautifully. Like works perfectly. Like night and day better.
Do you have the STL for that 3D model? Do you remember where it is?
Saved somewhere on my computer.
Okay, I thought maybe we could put it in the description if anybody, because that's a free download, right? That's where I got mine from.
I'll send you the link so you can attach it to the description. Yeah, for sure.
Cool, nice. Yeah, because I was thinking about that too, because I was going down this truing rabbit hole myself, because I'm like, well, not because I want to true silicone tires, but the front tires. After going to the club and seeing the more performance you can get by having true front tires in a car. This one specifically, right? Ernie did me the favor, and he's a great salesman too. Is it this one or this one? Which one did he do? No, it's this one. It's the Porsche. And he trued the front tires because he was like, "There's something wrong with this car." Walks away, comes back. He's like, "Your front tires were garbage." Okay, it's your car. I bought it from you. And he trued them, and he gained a couple tenths of a second faster, just because he wanted to. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, maybe there is something there." And so I was like, "Well, you know what? Especially the Carrera cars, because some of them are really good. Especially my Mercedes. I have two Mercedes. Well, I have three AMGs, and the pink one was suffering from a bent front axle, so that never helps. But I noticed that the front tires in the Carrera cars sometimes can be really bowed. You really have they ride on dimes, if you understand that expression, if you'll accept that expression. So I just kind of wanted to flatten them out. So I was saying, well, what's going on, which tire truer, and then it's to find the tire truer that you can just pop out the axle and stick it in and true the tires direct. I'm not there yet where I need a tire truer to do one tire individually, because for Carrera cars, it serves no purpose, right? So I think my solution might be to take an older car, use the motor, take out the front tires, put them on the back axle, and then use that doohickey, that sanding plate, and just do it that way. I think that's the cheapest and most inexpensive solution right now. But a tire truer for sure is definitely in the works. Are you going to print the Greg Gobbs one? Are we going to talk about the Greg Gobbs 3D printer?
Yeah, that Marty actually just even mentioned it. That GNS one. That's definitely the one that I want to do. Mostly because the tires can stay on the axle. You can do front and the back. It just seems very simple. Marty did a video on it. Yeah. Greg from Clearwater is doing the assembly. It seemed easy enough. I can print the parts and then just order the assembly parts, the motor and all the screws and stuff straight from Greg. So that's what I'm leaning towards. It just seems very simple, very straightforward, and not as daunting as some of the other ones do. I think the other ones just are a little bit more intimidating to me. Just being able to take that axle off, plop it on that thing and go, and then tighten that knob, that seems really enticing. And I'm seeing more and more people talk about it and more people try it. So
yeah, because my worry was that on the James Marty saying he did a video about it. He did do a video about it. It was excellent. The one question I have, if Marty's still in the chat, yeah, he's answering, so he is, and maybe someone else. The spindle that goes onto the axle that actually that snaps the axle in to true it. I thought that I had to buy a separate axle and then separate wheels and then put the tires on those wheels. But I believe that there's a slit. I saw in Greg's video in the zoom close up, and if I missed it in Marty's, I apologize. I believe you can there's a slit in that pulley, right? That's correct. You can do that, so we can actually true the Carrera tires on their axle. If anyone knows,
it's the same as the overdrive one, which I have.
Yeah, see, I don't know anything, so I'm like, these are the questions I have. Right.
The only difference is you'll need a different pulley with 3mm if you're doing reverse slots. So the RSM comes with both. When you buy it, you buy the 2.8mm pulleys, and then you buy the 3.3mm pulleys as well, which I'll need for 124s anyway. So yeah, and it's straight. You pop out the axle, you slip on the pulley, you set it up on the truer, it's banded to the motor, and you let it run, and you turn the knob, and you bring the tires down, and then you start to sand them down. I got Greg Gobbs automator as well, so it pushes the plate back and forth by itself.
Oh yeah, the oscillator.
Yeah. So yeah, then that works. But I have two OSMs, one for fronts, one for rears.
Okay. Clearwater says he got a 332, 3mm, and a 1/8 with his. But Greg, can you slide in, because the front axles of Carrera cars, you can't take off those wheels. I mean, you can, but then putting them back on, good luck. Is there an actual slit where you can slide the axle into that pulley, right? So you have a pulley, kind of like a C clamp, and you can. Is it work like
That's
that?
how
or
it
is
works. That's how it works. Like with the
okay, I thought you had to pass
with the
it through the whole-
overdrive,
okay,
with the
okay.
overdrive ones, you snap off the whole assembly, you slip on the pulley through the slit, tighten it down,
okay.
and then
It's got Pac-Man shape pulley.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought that was okay.
There's
Thank you.
no taking off wheels.
Okay, awesome.
Which is the whole reason I was enticed by it, because it's like, yeah, I can do Carreras without having to change a thing. Just pop them out of the car, pop them on that, and go.
Okay, all right. So maybe I will print. Maybe I will print it and give it a go and check that out. That's awesome. There are instructionals. There's an instruction for Carrera also. Thanks, Greg. Okay, cool. Thanks. I got my answers question. We do a show, but I get my answers question. This is awesome. So yeah, so you're gonna do so you're not into the, so you're gonna just do the plate truing for now, and you notice the difference on the Paul Gage, Gerard?
Yeah. Since I noticed the difference in, like, I don't know, truing just in general is just intimidating to me, and it seems like a heavy lift. So if I can just do it with the plate that I have now, that's probably what I'll stick with until he gets the truer and says, yeah, no, this is the way.
I think, like, I'm trying to convince him that I think, like, doing it the way I'm doing it now it works. It did very well. Like, you can see that they're flatter and smoother and nicer. But I think, like, I'm trying to convince him that with the tire truer, it takes all of the guesswork, all of the risk on the motor. Because, like, right, if it's just sitting still and that motor's just going with resistance, that's not great for the car motor. But we're not going crazy with it. But, like, just popping it on that truer removes all of that risk, because there's no, like, I mean, there's
it's running
risk
like
to doing anything bad.
Those truers run like bigger motors, right? They run the RC CAN motors, so they can take a lot more torque. Whereas when you're running your cars, like what we had in the beginning when I first started racing Carrera with the boys in the basement, we used to use the cheap sanding platform that you get from eBay for $100. It comes with a sanding pad and a cleaning pad and all that. The similar concept. Yeah. But the thing was, if you overdid your car on there, you burnt out your motor, and then when you went on the track, those heat soaked, and then the motor was all crap. You couldn't get the car up to speed. So you have to be careful. That's the dicey part. And then the second thing is that not both sides are even sometimes. So you do introduce a little bit of a misalignment as well. So you have to be a little bit careful about that. And then rounding off the edges of your tires is very important. So once you sand it, and then just go in with I used to use a little nail file, and then just round out the edges so that they won't catch when the car takes the corner. So it actually rolls through the corner on the edge. So those are the only few things that you have to do there, and then you'll be up to the races, no problems. But the tire truer just takes all the guesswork out, like Pete says, and you have more safety in that you're not running your car's motor at that point, and you're running a very, very strong motor instead.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the advantages. Yeah, cool. At this point, what's your favorite car to race?
Probably Aston Martin Vantage that I just got.
Nice.
It's like the new Northwest livery.
So that's the black one with the yellow and blue, like square.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's rad.
I'll bring it over.
Oh man, that's nice.
So yeah, that's probably my favorite one. But I don't know what the Audi, even with the silicones, since it was the fastest and I could just rip it, it was fun. But now that I have the urethanes on it, like that was also the one that I bought for Pete's house, so I've had it the longest. The Audi R8.
Okay.
So
the Mon filter.
Yeah.
Manfilter. Right here.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I really like that one. That one just
Yeah.
seems to stick to the track real well.
Yeah. When I
Well,
got
and
Jen,
it's like a lot of my cars. Some of my worst cars on my track are the ones that I got first. You know, mine were used, and so they were already trashed. But it's like you just get a little bit of nostalgia and a little bit of love for those first couple that you get. You're like, yeah, that thing has seen some miles now, and it is missing all kinds of parts and bits off of it. And it's like, yeah.
yeah, no, 100%. It's funny how Jen and I both broke the same piece on the same car. So I'm missing like this back end fender part that fell into the heater, I think. Because I just couldn't find it. It's like yellow on a white floor. Can't find it. And then Jen also broke hers, but I super glued this section so many times. You know, spoilers are gone.
There's a whole back thing gone. I think
This is a hole that makes the car go faster. This is how
yeah,
it is.
right. It's for cooling. It's now an air cooled motor.
No, it's awesome. I was thinking about it the other day. You know, Harry's got that thing where he's like, "Send me your cars that you don't care about," and I'm like, "Man, I should probably just send him the Expo because that was the first car that came in my set, my lap to victory." And you know, I got the red AMG Mercedes, which is my still today's second fastest car, only being outbeaten by the Porsche, and then the KTM, which was like the slowest car still to this day. Mags in, mags out, same deal because it's just so heavy. It's 115 grams out of the box, which is stupid heavy. And I wanted to send it to Harry, and I'm like, no, I still like this car. It's my first car. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to send it out, right? So is there only one car that do you guys have set cars that you bring over to each other's tracks, or like when you come over, Gerard, you're like, hey, I use any car? Or
So last time I went down there, I mainly just brought that Audi because it had silicone and he had all silicone on his, so that was the one that we could race against each other easiest.
Right.
And then I brought my F1 so that we could race 4 of those at the same time. Didn't actually end up doing that, but just in case, we had the option.
Oh, so you picked up an F1 as well. Which one?
Yeah, so I actually got all 4 of them and brought 2 of them to him because the hobby shop by me sells all of the cars for cheaper.
Nice.
So I got Vettel and Verstappen.
There you go.
Pretty sure.
That's a good one.
So we both got Verstappen, and then we got the opposite Ferrari ones.
Have you if we're gonna go down
it's funny. So he went in and he's texting me when he went to the hobby shop and he's like, they've got the Formula Ones. They're only whatever they were, like $55 like the rest of them. This is crazy. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, oh man, I really should have him pick one up for me. And I was like, but I don't really have money to spend on slot cars right now. And then like 10 minutes later, I text him. I was like, are you still in the parking lot? Can you go back and grab me 2 of them? Just get them. Like, I don't care. I'll figure it out. just bring them down next time you come. I don't even care.
How do you guys like racing the F1s? Have you had a chance to race against each other, or?
Yeah, a little bit.
We did a little bit. The stock tires, they're pretty because they have the like yellow Pirelli on it. I mean, they're red, but I'm gonna try now that. So the whole reason I started doing the sanding pad on here was I think it was last weekend. My wife picked out a car. We were at the hobby shop on the way home from an activity with the kiddo, and she picked out a car, and it's the M1 Pro car. And we brought that home, and I was looking up for quick slicks, and then I was like, well, I don't have any here at the house that fit it. And she's like, well, I want to race it. I'm like, well, it's real. Like the tires were just super cupped. And so I was like, yeah, okay. So I was like, well, can't hurt to try. And so I sanded them down, and it was like, it's still stock tire. So it's not as nice as the urethane or the silicones, but it was like worlds different, like night and day different after I just flattened those out a little bit. And then what I wound up doing with my Beetle, the one that you sent me from Raul, that one I put silicones on it, and even the silicones were like super cupped because I don't think they were actually made for that. I don't know if they were made for that car. I don't know. But immediately it was like, nope. I even tried sanding those ones like when I first got them because I was like, it's just so bad. But doing sanding the silicones was like, no, this is a nightmare. I'm not even gonna try.
I find
Marty says this, and I agree. If you want, you can try treating the rubber tires.
So I've heard sunscreen or Vaseline.
Yeah, we actually use there's an RC compound that I use that George uses from Area 51.
Okay.
That I got that you just coat them on the tires and you leave them overnight, and they got sticky and tacky, and then it will really grip to the track.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was part of the reason why I wanted to make this switch back to stock tires and urethane anyways, because I have cars that they just either didn't make silicone tires for or couldn't find them. And I was so tired of like buying a new car, bringing it home, and then being like, oh, I can't race it till I get new tires for it because I don't want to lay down rubber and then pick it up with the silicones. And now it's like, no, I can just sand them a little bit, get them a little bit flat, and then race them right out of the box. And so that's been the most
that is definitely a pro
me.
when going to urethane, because you can just sand down your cars. You're not worried about the track, you're not worried about the rubbering in or anything getting cleaned. That is definitely a pro versus silicone, because that's my struggle. I got all, you guys saw my last unboxing, and there's a few cars that I'm like, I gotta wait. Really gotta wait,
Yeah.
It's one of those. Not that I can't. I mean, the boutique cars are a little different because I enjoy the soft rubber. So the NSR, the MR slot car, and the Thunder slots have these really soft rubber tires, and you would think that they wouldn't grip as well, especially that they have like the grooves. They actually have the tread, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know if you can see that. They got the tread on there, and I'm like, okay, this car is going to slide out everywhere. But for some reason, they're on slick, clean track. They stick, and I was like, okay, I mean, they are fishtailing, that's for sure. But with that exception, I know the struggle. That's one of the things. If you don't buy that silicone tire, just because there's no shop here that sells both, right? You can't go and be like, oh, I got this, and give me a silicone tire that goes with it. Like I think that's a big issue for everyone. A big hurdle to jump when going for silicone. So I feel that for sure. White Wolf is asking what that stuff is called, Raul.
I'll have to look it up. I think it's XCS or SPS. It's just called. We used to call it when I used to race RC. It was called
Is that
tire
track
juice. It's called tire juice. That if you go into any
Tire
RC shop and you just ask them, "Can I get some tire juice?" They'll point you out. It comes in different forms. It's just that it changes manufacturers a lot of times. The one that George from Area 51 has a video on it, and I believe that one's really cheap to get in the States. We can't get that in Canada. So I walked into Panther Hobbies, which is a local RC shop here, and they gave me something similar, which is a different name. So, but George has that on his channel. I'll try and find it and post it.
Cool. Yeah,
appreciate that. Awesome. And so, have you guys raced yet this weekend? Like when you came, when did you show up yesterday? Last night?
You just said you were up till 3:15 in the morning racing.
Yeah. I don't remember. I haven't had my coffee.
I thought I was one who needed coffee. You said
no. I'm still, no, because I want to ask, like, well, who won? How many races did you do?
We each won one.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to go for a rubber match, and he's like, "It's a little late. We got a show in not very long, so we should probably." And I was like, "All right." So rubber match is happening after the show. We'll break the tie after the show this morning.
Oh man, that would have been great to do it right here live. See like a 25 lap shootout. Let's go.
Maybe
in the lounge.
Maybe in the lounge. Oh, that'd be cool. All right, after the show. B2 is asking, I arrived late. What is the topic? We're just, Pete's in Milwaukee visiting his brother. His brother's got a new track. We're just bombarding him with questions, being like, we have a new member. It's all good. And so are you using Smart Race? You got you went down, the whole thing. Okay.
Yep.
What are your experiences? What are your thoughts right now on Smart Race? How are you liking it? Is this your first experience with actually using it itself, or did you have a bit of a tutorial?
He's always marshaling and setting it all up whenever we're at his house racing. So he kind of showed me. He brought his, and so I kind of copied the settings that he was using, and then just been playing around with. Like I had Well, I had to change the settings last night on the fuel calculations and whatnot because all of a
Yeah.
sudden, we were ripping on the urethane. So it was like, oh, 2 laps and we're out of gas. How about that? Like, so that was cool. But yeah, I mean there's so many different settings and whatnot to play around with in there. That,
Okay.
that it
Were you
makes
guys? Do you have the Smart Race Connect yet? Or were you guys just doing like a gentleman's off, like?
Yeah, so we both have it on our phones. So if we're racing, like, once we really set it up, we'll probably do Connect on our phones. But yeah,
that's the one. That's the one.
Okay,
That's
cool.
XT 3.0 traction.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks, White Wolf. Because Pete, we were talking about that a couple days ago about doing like the calling, right? Because you said that you switched. Because I mean, I when I do it with the family comes over, I set it that anybody hits that stop button from the Connect app, you get that penalty. But we were talking about, and I think you've done it already, about switching and doing it manually because you get that confusion.
Yeah, I turned it off because initially it was like whoever presses it on the Connect app, it gives you it. You can set it so it automatically gives you a 2-second penalty. And what wound up happening, especially when there's a lot of people and people are rotating through, like the night I had all, like 10 of my buddies over and we're all racing that night. And a lot of them, it was like the first time racing on my track. There's a lot to keep track of. And so instead of like yelling at so-and-so to hit the button, you crashed, hit the button.
Yeah.
When you don't do it automatic, it's just anybody who sees a crash can just mash on that button, because I'm using like super old, like cell phones that I haven't used in a long time. Yeah. And I just put them around my track so that everybody doesn't have to download the app and all that. And so some of them are much more sensitive than others. So some of them, like, as soon as you touch it, it works. And some of them, it's like, you got to like hit it with your fist to get it to work. And so, so that was it caused some frustration for people, because then everybody's like, well, I didn't crash, I don't want the penalty. And so I turned off the automatic. And then for a while I had it set up so that it automatically pulls up the penalty window when you crash.
Oh, there's an option for that. That's cool.
Yeah.
But the problem is then once you confirm the penalty, it just starts the race like automatically. Like once you push confirm, it's just like, okay, we're starting.
It counts down, but it's just like immediate. So it's not like, there was a lot of times where I'd hit the penalty and be like, yep, okay, we're good. And then it's like, oh crap, we have 3 cars that are still off.
Oh, yeah, because you're just like, okay, go for the. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and so, and now I've like, you can do the widgets where there's like the quick links or whatever, and I just put one of those as a penalty. So when you crash, you just open that up, assign the penalties, and go. And then that also made it easier to be like, the rule is now on my track when we race is that if the race stops because somebody crashed, if your lights aren't on and you're off the track, you get a penalty. I don't care what happened, I don't care who caused it. It's just because then there's not less argument. It's just like, yeah, that sucks that you went off and you're getting a penalty even though you were crashed into, but it'll come back and it all evens out in the end for the most part. But that way it was just easy. There was no judgment call. It's no arguing about whose fault it was. It's just like, nope, you're off the track. Boom, 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 penalties.
Yeah.
And then
no, it makes sense, because I mean, my frustration when you're marshaling, especially that, like, for me and you, Pete, and even Raul, when it's our track, we know it, and we're like, you got to race, people come over, so you're marshaling all the time. When it takes a while for people to get used to the off or whatever, like now we're getting better at it. I benefit from having a smaller table, so even though I'm racing, I see in the corner of my eye if someone goes off, the sound, you hear it, right?
Yeah.
And so what was happening was, I was like, I don't understand why am I always losing? I'm always concentrating on like, oh, somebody went off, so I got to look down. Everyone's gaining that extra couple of track spaces, and then I got to press stop and say what's going on. So I said, no, forget it. Everyone has to press stop themselves. You're getting a 2-second penalty and done with it. But then that issue happens, right? Jen's like, I'm pressing it. And then the kids are just like lapping her and laughing. Or you'd have 2 people crash in the corner. And then, Allison's like, I'd see her and I'm like, why are you laughing? And she's like, I'm waiting for mom to press the button. I want her to get the penalty. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. And then you told me, no, you can reassign penalties. So I still think I have to test it out. I'm going to get the kids over. They're supposed to come this weekend. We'll see. I'll use them as guinea pigs and be like, we'll try out this new rule and see what's up. Because they got smart. They saw a crash and they're like, well, I'm just going to wait for someone else to press the button. But now I got the penalty to be like, no, both of you
We
go,
used
because
to
I'm afraid that
do-
if you take away the responsibility for the driver to press stop, then everyone will still take advantage. No other driver wants to press stop, right? But as the race coordinator, I feel like I
Yep.
have to, because then it's not
Yep.
fair for that person, right, who crashed, and they get all upset. So it's unfortunate. It's one of the little glitches in the the Race Connect that sometimes it doesn't. Like sometimes it works like a charm, and I don't understand, right? Sometimes you can even make it the full screen, right? You make it the full
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah, that's
And
what we do too. And
it
like
just
you
doesn't
said,
wanna
sometimes it's like perfect and immediate, and sometimes it's like you're just jamming on it, hoping that
Yeah.
the race is going to stop.
I know I'm yelling at Jen all the time. I'm like, press it lightly, press it harder. You just push up, like scroll your finger up, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not her. It's or anyone else. It's just the way it is. But can you do it? I think we were talking about this. You were thinking about making it a fob, a press button start and stop.
Well, so it's actually White Wolf showed me a video because I was asking him about it in the Discord, and he made one with like a relay, because a lot of people will solder in the physical button to the CU, and that was my original plan. Probably still what I'm going to do, but he showed me where he used this like remote, key fob relay, and he wired that into the CU, and so he's just got a key fob he can walk around with and start and stop the race, which is that's pretty cool. And I've got a million other ideas as usual with how I can use that relay. So more to come there, but I'm thinking more of the actual physical buttons and just placing them on a couple of corners of the track so that you have that.
I'm thinking now, yeah, because
Emergency valve for everybody.
Well, that's it, because I don't think at this point with the penalty assignment widget itself, I was like, well, yeah, I kind of want to do that, but at the same time, then it doesn't automatically assign the penalty because Smart Race doesn't know that. It just thinks that the marshal's stopping the race. But with the widget, you can just assign and be like, okay, who pressed it? You did? Okay. And like you said, check who's off and then just assign manually and go,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, till today, I think our solution is the best because there's nothing to do with penalties. It's like you go off if your tires are not on anywhere on the black asphalt, you get put back in the pits past the pit lane, so it doesn't trigger the pit lane, but you get put right back into the pits and you have to repeat your lap by the time everyone comes back in. It's just a quick way. Just go put the car back in the pits. And then we used to do things with, I told you about this. We had cards, and every time you went in the pit, you gave a card away. If you hit 7, you're out of the race. We disqualified you right away.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Crash and burn or crash and learn.
Simple, no tapping buttons, no nothing, and everyone can concentrate. And it's very simple. Like there's no need to worry about penalties.
I was thinking about doing that. Like if you, especially once I was racing the F1s and the front wings kept popping off. Like if you lost a piece, then you had to go to the pit. Yeah. Like it was actually repair. If you crashed it hard enough to lose a piece, then it's like, okay, you need a little bigger penalty.
But that's the easiest way because it hurts even worse if you crash just before the last corner coming back to the front straight, because then you go all the way back.
Start all the way over. Yeah.
So it helps people and calmed everyone down, because in the beginning people just go nuts, like they don't, it's just racing.
The excitement is high and
And then what was happening was people were just knocking each other off the track, so we started putting these stricter penalties, and nobody has time to tap the app. They're learning so many new things.
That's exactly right.
Right, there's so many new things, so we're like, okay, if you're off, we look at the car. If it's still on the track, tires tied down, so the one tire must be touching the black asphalt on the track.
Okay.
Otherwise, you go back to the pits. If you're touching the asphalt, we put you back where you are. But if you're not on the asphalt in any way, shape, or form, you're back on the pits. You go back to the pits and you start. When we go again, you're starting from the pits again, and it's
That's
an automatic penalty.
If it's a super violent crash, then you're getting penalized.
And then if you fly off the table, if by any chance, because Joe knows I don't have big net, I don't.
You don't have any catch
fences because I'm like, if you don't know how to drive, then if you fly off the table, 2 times. So what we had was, when you were racing with us, you had the ability to bring 3 different cars to the race, So if you flew off the track the first time, you had to replace it with another car. That car was done. And then if you flew off the second time, you replace it with a third car. And then if that flew off as well, you were disqualified. You had a race finished. So that's how we did it. So you brought your cars, you brought your teams. That's how we run. And it was really fast racing. You could concentrate on the race, and you didn't have to worry about the Smart Race app and all that. The Smart Race was just getting us the timings. That's what we looked at.
It's also true too. Then it removes a little bit of that, like shnikes. Whatever. Oh shit.
It's all good.
So
you can say shit.
I gotta serve penalties. Like,
Yeah.
and then there's like, oh, I'm DQ'd at the end because I forgot to serve my penalty, or I beat these people because I didn't serve the penalty, or whatever. Like that is true. That like it's just a much simpler way to do it. I love the penalties and I love serving the penalties, but there's also so many times where somebody's got like a 10-second penalty, and then they're clogging up the pit lane.
Yeah.
Especially without like I only have the one pit lane, so like serving the penalty. If somebody's got a long one, it's like you got to plan out your own pit strategy based on their penalties, and it's like, oh man.
But that's what I mean. Yeah, but that's also the fun of it, right? Because I mean, the whole point. Sorry, for me, the whole intrigue and attraction to digital racing, right? Mag in digital racing, not to worry too much about the car as fast as you can go, even though now I reduced it to 80%, was the whole fact that like, hey, weather's happening, so you gotta you're just adding chaos, right? Adding chaos to the race, and I learned that.
And way more strategy. It's another element of the strategy.
Exactly. So it's like to get that penalty is important because now you've got to serve it and think about it. Because we don't do 50-lap races, we do 200-lap races, and then which I find with 4 people is like the minimum. So we're trying to like it's the game. So even if you're ahead in the beginning, the first quarter, you might be so you got fuel to worry about. You've got weather that possibly might show up. You've got the only thing I haven't tried to maybe. What do you call it? Switch over, like you're saying about the damages and giving out cards, is the fact that Smart Race has the damages option, and I'm not sure how that works exactly. I'm going to have to try it out, but I think it has to do with people pressing because it doesn't know when you went off, but it'll know when you press the if it's you pressing the call button, right? I mean,
so I think that all is irrelevant because if you have the same group of people coming every time. Yeah, that works, but you can increase the complexity over time.
Yeah.
But when you have new people coming in all the time, like we were talking about this because we're running an event soon, and we're like, okay, how do we make it exciting for people? Well, if you just set the rules, these are simple rules that you have to follow. If you go off the track, try and keep it on the track, So don't take that corner at the full pop because you can deslot. We can put you back. But if you deslide and fly off the track, we're going to put you back in the pits. It's very simple as that. If you fly completely off the table, you switch the car. That's simple as that. Like you can't get any simpler. You're not out of the race. You have 3 chances. Means you have to bring 3 cars to the track. But that's also the fun part of it, because you can say, okay, now you have a team. You have a race team. You have 3 cars. It's a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, you can strategize which one is your first, second, and third choice.
Exactly, and that's how people would do it. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna cause a ruckus. Yeah, my first car, right? Try and knock off a bunch of people off the track, fly off. Now I got my fast car on the track. Now I'm gonna catch up. Like there's a little bit more strategy there too, and that's like team orders, right? Kind of thing. So it introduces a different level, and it's simple. Because the one thing is it's very simple. The rules are very simple, and you can get to racing a lot faster. And then as a race coordinator, right? Your job is only to make sure that everything is happening, and you don't have to worry about pressing buttons or doing things. Then somebody smart connect disconnects, and you're like,
and keep you don't care about your whole goal when people are racing on your track is to just keep those cars moving. Like the more that they're moving, the more fun people are going to have. The more you have to press buttons and serve penalties and figure out who gets a penalty. Like that's a good point. I think I'll
try it out. I'll tell you, it changes the whole perspective of the racing. You can try it out when you race after this and see, okay, if you go off, if you're not on the track, you don't get put back where you went off. You go back to the pits and see how it's different. because it would change the way you race altogether, and you'll start to become a much more. We had a lot of issues where in the beginning, there was two guys that just were there to bump each other off the track. That's all they were doing.
yeah.
Right.
There's always
So
one.
that's why, like, we decided to introduce these. Right. There's always that one person that just doesn't really care about the car. It's just there to damage everyone else's. You know.
And it usually shifts throughout the night because somebody,
Yeah.
as they're drinking a little more and starts losing, then they become that person.
They become the spoiler. Yeah.
But once they're like losing their cars, they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
then-
I gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it will change the dynamic of the race completely if you try. that out.
My niece is pretty famous for that. My Lamborghini Huracan, I call it the wedge because it's got that super sharp nose, and she just loves ramming up behind cars and send them flying in the air. She doesn't care about anything else. She just wants to see those things go flying up.
How you doing, George? Thanks for joining. And we got Dennis
Maurice
Osborne who's also
definitely-
joined. If we missed anybody, we apologize.
Maurice definitely down for a Grand Prix weekend. I saw that comment. Definitely.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's it. The MB Auto was saying now we got 3 tracks in Milwaukee. You guys got this group going on in Milwaukee now. How many in this area? Oh my goodness, good for you guys. That's
There's a
awesome.
fair amount.
we have Commander Carrera. That's right. Definitely Commander. We got a fellow Trekkie in the house, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Thanks, George. Oh my
Don't
goodness.
encourage him, George.
Yeah.
It's all good. So we got the Milwaukee, we got the thing. Big Oak, thank you for that. He cleared up the fact that the damages don't go by who presses the button; it goes by your lap. You'll start taking.
Yeah.
So if
When
you
you
have
hold
a gap, which makes sense, they're like, well, wait a minute, that's a pretty big gap. So I'll have to check that out to see if there's a slider that you can adjust that. That's pretty cool.
That's the other thing too I like about the app is that all of the settings pretty much are like, very, there's
Adjustable.
a lot of options. So it's
Yeah,
like,
that's
okay,
it.
well that didn't work. Let's dial that back down a little bit.
That's cool. Sometimes I wish there was less options. I'm like, well, just give me dummy mode. Like, just give me easy mode. I don't think about it. Like, oh my goodness, trying to figure out what the lap is, and we're all like, I don't understand. Why am I fueling up more? I'm like, yeah, because you keep hitting that 0.1 of a second, and then the cars, use up all that fuel, and they're like, it doesn't make sense. So I'm like, I know, but I set it to in a 200 lap race, I've set it to an average of 25 laps. So you're gonna have to fuel 4 times in 200 laps. Does that make sense? In an F1 race, how many times are they going into the pits? I guess it depends on the length of the track, right? So
Usually twice, I think. One
Yeah.
or two stops.
It depends on
the
track.
weather, the track.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
There's so many options, so many things, variables.
20
See,
variables.
I-
Okay.
Like
I
we
think
run
the
like
plans out the gate are usually 1 or 2 stops though.
yeah, that's
A single stop normally because they have a certain amount of fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So normally it really comes down to
boring.
the track, but normally it's a 1 stop or 2 stop race. That's it.
That's true. Nah, I like maybe I'll reduce it to 3. But I like the pit stops, and I like penalizing people for being.
You still have
fast.
to have pit stops.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you by putting them in the pits to avoid pit stops. You still got to do your fuel and your pit stop.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
something you still got to keep in track of. But the penalties themselves, a penalty is something that you just want to give them something to serve to discourage them from doing things. Moving your car to the pits discourages everybody.
That's also
Yeah.
a very visual, immediate
Yeah.
dogs are going nuts.
They're happy. They're cousins. They haven't seen each other in a while.
Yeah, something like that. But it's a very immediate feedback that you crashed. You're no longer in that. Sometimes when you get a penalty that you can serve later, it's like, oh, I'm still in the heat of it. I'm still right neck and neck with this guy that I just went off with, and then you go off again, and then you go off again, then you go off again.
You're when you're leading the race and then you go off, you're like, oh, and then you
Yep.
put right at the front, and now you're like, oh, I'm a lap behind. Oh no,
Yeah, it
you
is
know what I mean?
immediate.
Yeah, it's immediate. It
That's
changes
true.
the game altogether.
I like that.
Do you guys? Because I think the first time we spoke, Pete, and I want to know if Gerard is doing it the same way you guys do it. You were telling me that you were utilizing the safety car, and how whoever crashes. Do you guys still do that?
No, we spent like almost like an entire weekend figuring out how to make the safety car like work and pull out at the right time and the speed to make sure that it would pull back in and we wouldn't catch it. And it was really cool. But then it was like, this is just taking so long every time one person crashes that it's just like, it's tedious. And
it was cool because it felt more like a race, right? There's a crash, and so the safety car comes out and everybody piles up behind. So there's a lot of strategy behind it, because if somebody crashed and you were right in front of them, the safety car, we just put it out right in front of that crash, and then you could catch a lap up. So it was really cool. But like you said, we had worked on like tweaking the settings and okay, what's the rules? How do we implement this? We'd spent like an entire weekend doing that, and still at the end of that weekend, like talking like 12 hours of testing this thing. And then at the end of the weekend, we were still like, now what happens if this situation happens in this way? Like 2 cars are off, where does the thing go? And so then as soon as we introduced it to like one other person, it was like, and we were explaining how it works, it was just like, they were like, I'm good, I'm out, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, okay.
Because we made it so that like the ghost cars would catch the safety car like exactly right when it would pull out. So that like the restart, when right before the safety car would pull out, there would be the ghost cars plus you. So it was like, a real backed up restart, which was awesome. And like felt like a real restart after a safety car. But like to get to that point, it was just like, this is way too much. And you had to place every safety car in the right spot and every ghost car in the right spot. And it was like, if you messed one of them up, then you were crashing.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I guess the race coordinator would have to be like Jimmy on the spot with the deploy, like someone crashes and you'd have to hit that deploy, and then the safety car goes out, and then but it's hard, right? You're talking, you're yelling at each other. You got to worry about the safety car. I get it.
Like one of the hardest things to explain to other people after like we were trying to explain, I think it was like my wife or my dad or somebody, we were trying to be like, okay, we're going to try this time, and explaining to them that they can't pass the safety car, but that the software doesn't know that, the CU doesn't know that, so you just have to slow down at the safety car. That was like a bridge too far. That was like people were just like, I don't get it. So it looks really cool.
At the end of the day, it's just get those cars running on the track as much as possible.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's exactly right.
The faster you can do that, all these penalties, all these other things.
Yeah. And it was the restart.
The fuel is cool. I think I got my guys to understand fuel, and that was it. Like after that, they're like, I come here to race once a week. I'm not taking these cars home. I don't care about tuning my cars.
Exactly.
They're like, just get my cars ready for me. I come once a week. I'm going to have my energy drink or whatever they were drinking and just go ham on the track, have a bunch of laughs, not think too much about what's going on in my ear. They looked at the car, the lights were flashing. Oh, I need fuel. Like that was it. Like none of them were looking at visual cues on their phones or anything except some of the technical guys. You get that mix of very technical guys and people just want to just come and just have some fun.
Just race.
Right. And that's why we introduced these like physical penalties, like physical things, like the cards. You can run down on your cards. You're like, oh no, I better be more careful. You have 7 cards, right? So every time you're crashing or coming off the track, you're handing the card back. When you hit my 7th card, I'm out, right? Yeah. And then and then we used to do before and after interviews after every race. I don't know if it was fun. Yeah. We had a lot of fun with it, and I think it was just simple, right?
Yeah, no, that's it. That's cool.
That's true. The simpler you make it, the easier it is to get a wide variety of people involved in having fun.
Yeah, because these guys are not slotheads; they're just friends that just want to come and race.
Exactly.
And I think if you introduce those kind of physical penalties, it's a lot easier. And then you don't have, you moved, or you didn't press your button, or you didn't, like, that's all gone. It's just like, call it here.
Yeah, you got to feel the crowd and feel the racers that come to your place, right? I mean, Rolls had a lot of experience with that. I've had somewhat. I mean, it's mostly family races for me, and a couple friends who are really into it. And then
it's same as RC racing. RC racing, if you crash, you crash. Like you'd have to get your pit guy into that on the racetrack to flip your car back over. That's it. Like they don't stop for you. There's no waiting around. Yeah. There's no pit stops. It's like go. Your car crashes, bring it to the pits yourself. Like or the marshal will just pick up your car and put it to the side. You have to bring the car to the pits and fix it, and see if you can get back into the race on time, right? Because we gotta remember, like, there's points for everyone. So if you drop a point off a race, you're behind. So you want to complete as many laps as possible on a racetrack. So we also gave you points for how many laps you completed and all that. So it kind of put the league in kind of like because we used to race a full league 6 months of the year at that point. So
Okay.
really helps
Yeah.
out that way.
My dad says he heard us call him out. I'm not calling you guys out. I'm just saying that if we have to take 20 minutes to explain the rules, then we're doing something wrong. That's what it is. Like if I have to explain 15 things that you have to think about when a safety car goes, then we're doing it wrong.
Well,
That's all
it.
I'm saying.
But
Not
I
calling you out.
I still think. I mean, if you guys can go back and if you want, you guys have to check out the live we did with when Pete went to go see his dad, and your track or your dad's track. I forget which hands it changed.
It's his now. It's all
his now. Okay, so Paul's track. The fact to see you guys race on that, and you had the call buttons and the gas and the fuel, and everyone had their own station that you built, because HO does none of this. There's absolutely none of this, right? That you, with the exception of the AFX grandstand that my dad has, that will keep your lap and fuel you up, and everything's there, and it's got a cute little thing, but there's still no call button. So the phenomenal work Pete did for this track, and it's like an arcade. I'm a retro arcade guy lover, right? So to see a table nicely made with miniatures inside and cars running around and the whole screen, it's phenomenal, guys. If you can, I forget which episode it is, but it's on Keith's channel, and he's at his dad's place, and it's really, really awesome. So you guys as a family coming from that, and then like I totally understand why the digital, for sure attracts you, and then now you got your brother into it as well. This is going to be some family, some good family fun for sure.
Well, dad has a few cars parked here in the garage too now. So
nice. There you go. I guess it would make sense for everyone to conform. So now, Pete, you're gonna switch over your tires, I imagine, right? Slowly.
Urethanes, yeah. In fact, he had a couple extras that he ordered that I slapped on one of my cars that I brought last night, and then I'm gonna slowly swap them all over.
Okay. Mark them well, those silicones, because I'll probably buy them all.
Well, and I was thinking about that last night, actually, as I was pulling it off. I was like, I need to put that in a baggie and write down what car it came off of. Because the whole problem why I was stuck with silicones is that when I switched to silicones, I just peeled off all the cars and put them in a big bucket, and they're just like, they're mixed in with all these other ones that I bought at a swap meet, like this big old bag of tires. And I was like, well, those are just part of the scenery kit now. There's no matching those things up again.
Yeah, no, good luck. Oh goodness. All right. So I don't know if we have time to get into it. Maybe we'll get into the next one, because we've hit our hour mark, and we're having a blast. So was there something you wanted to talk about specifically, Pete? Something that you wanted to bring up?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I think we covered everything.
Just making sure.
Urethanes. I wanted to make sure we talked about that. We did talk about the tire tour. That's what we were talking about this morning, before the show started. But no, that was the.
Okay, Gerard, are you? Have you thought at all about the third-party cars or boutique slot cars, an analog switcher, or are you just still trying to engulf yourself with all the digital stuff right now?
Yeah, I think like what was
Why are you shaking your head?
Said I got a long way to go still on just the digital cars. So right now I'm not diving into that a whole lot, because there's still a lot of just digital ones that I want to get my hands on.
Okay, makes sense. You guys have I'm assuming you guys have, because you mentioned twice now that you have a hobby shop. They carry a good amount of stock. Did you buy most of your cars at the hobby shop, or are you buying online? Just curious.
I think I bought all but one at the hobby shop. I think I got one online just because I was, buying a pit lane, and I was like, well, while I'm here,
I now buy most of my cars from the hobby shop up here, because they have so many there. They're way more than the local shops down by me. So
okay, that's still local. That's good. It's a physical shop, and supporting local is always good, right?
Yeah.
And they just have they have a lot, and like they just have cases that line their aisles that are just like, oh, what's that one? Oh, okay, they don't have that one on display. Maybe can you open this one for me?
Oh, nice. What didn't they have a sale on Scalextric? Weren't you saying your shop had a sale on Scalextric?
That was the local in St. Louis one, and that's when I
Okay.
bought the Mini Cooper.
Okay. Are any of these shops online? Did you want to give a shout out if they had an online store or no? Or
Both of them, yeah. So the one here locally that we like a lot that always has good prices, Hiawatha Hobbies.
Yeah, and then I think when we were in the lounge or something at some point, somebody was saying the prices are online are not actually cheaper than.
Well, they bump them up. Some of them they bump up when they start selling through them. They bump up because like the Formula Ones when we bought them were like $55 or something. But then when I said that, of course, somebody's like, "I'm looking now," and they're not. So they raise the price, which rightfully so. They're cruising through them. They can sell it for what?
yeah, well, I think price hikes are coming. I think Carrera had said that even for last year, that the newer Carreras will be more expensive. That was even before this whole tariff thing, which I'm not getting into. It's just whatever. Well, I guess we're going to come and see, right? I guess probably next quarter we'll know. We do know. I mean, everything's getting more expensive. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Hiawatha Hobbies here, and then Mark Twain is the one I go to in St. Louis, and that one is online. It's Hobby One. I'm sure a lot of people have seen Hobby One if you're in the U.S., but that's a local to St. Louis shop that I like.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Even Shallowfish is saying they have better prices than Mark Twain. Interesting. That's good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I took that on too fast.
Yeah, Mark Twain. That's Hobby One.
Well, Mark Twain is Hobby One?
Yes, same thing. Mark Twain is what they are called locally. Like this physical shop is Mark Twain Hobbies, but online I think it's hobby1.com.
Okay. George is asking Overdrive or what else can you get in Canada? Yeah, in Canada we're kind of limited, so I think the Greg Gobb is what it is because no matter what, I don't think there is a Canadian tire truer here. I don't think any Canadians make tire truers. Raul's got a really fancy one all the way from Germania.
I have two of them. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. He has to keep reminding us that we have two of them. That he won't sell the other one to me for some reason.
Oh.
I mean, I don't understand.
No.
You have silicones. What do you need? What do you need a tire truer
My
for?
front tires. My front tires. need to be
Those
trued.
front tires can use sanding block.
Maybe that might be the
They don't
more
really
expensive
touch.
version.
It's front
Just
tires.
use a
don't
palm
really-
sander on it, Joe.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I was like, hey, I can just put my Dremel on a vise and then
Oh,
just do it
God.
that way. And then I realized I don't have a vise. So there you go.
Yeah, that's the only problem with that plan. So you
Yeah.
don't have a vice. Thank God.
I have a big grinder, Joe. You can use that.
Yeah, like the diamond cut wheel. You can just really shred those things.
Oh, I'm down to
Tile
the
saw.
rim.
Yeah.
How
Right
how,
through the
how
axle.
precise is a jigsaw? Do you think?
It's like
Are you
the
kidding me?
least precise of all of the hand tools.
I've got a yeah, exactly. I've got a cell phone gantry from Magnetic Racing that's like just daunting, and I'm like, okay, how do I do this? Do I just buy those acrylic pens? I don't want to get too much into it, but like, do I buy those acrylic pens? Is it worth it? I found the sale $15 online for 25 of them at Amazon, or do I just go to the dollar store and buy acrylic paint and just do it that way, right?
Dollar store.
Dollar store.
That's
Yeah.
how I've done mine. The ones I did for the HO track. I don't have any of the 132 stuff, but the ones I did from Magnetic Racing for the HO track, just dollar store paint.
Yeah. I think the pens would be good more for like figurine painting, more precise.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Blasphemy.
Think
Blasphemy.
that's bad.
Full
Dollar store
blasphemy.
paint, is that blasphemy? I make my own thinner too for my airbrush roll, so I'm sure you'll love that concoction.
Yeah.
Nico's got a question. Why don't you guys build a Canadian tire truer? Pete, can you design me a Canadian tire truer, and then I'll just
I'm not Canadian, so nope.
we'll just put
I
an E at the end of
knew he
it.
was
The
gonna
truer,
start
just add an extra E, and now it's Canadian, right? I mean, it's
Hey,
just,
Pete, you're the answer to all Joe's problems. Pete, can you do this? Pete, can you
Yeah,
do that?
nope.
Once as Joe said, you know what? I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. Pete, come
Yeah.
to the rescue, Pete.
Well, yeah. Well, we were just talking about this the other day, and I think it was maybe with Greg or maybe even with Slot where Joe's like always asking me like, hey, you should make this tweak on this thing, or you should do this, or you should do that. I'm like, you have a 3D printer, you have one at work, you should learn how to like design the stuff so you can just do it yourself and you can do whatever you want. He made it like 3 lessons in on learning the design software and it was like, nope, not for me. Pete, can you make this?
I will pay. No, I mean, I definitely was interested in the Fusion 360. We were talking about it on the last live. It's just the time, right? It's just timing and sitting there and learning it, because I figured it doesn't make sense.
How do you think Pete got there? He did the same thing.
No, well, that's it, right? I'm just starting now, right? And I believe, and it's a great thing. We have George and Marty here too, like, and I'm seeing what Shotgun Dave is doing with the resin printing, and we just saw that Slot R is making those tire molds, which is really great. Like, I think 3D printing and Slot Car and the Slot Car hobby will eventually be one, hand in hand when it comes to designing. I mean, look at Pete. What am I talking about? Just, you're coming up with your new store, all the products that you're coming up with. It's an inevitable thing, right? And 3D printing is becoming more and more obtainable, easier. The price point is coming down, and these machines are literally plug and play at this point, right? Yeah, see Marty saying he's so tempted to buy a 3D printer, but are a 3D printer or a resin printer? Because
an FDM printer or a resin printer, it's the same thing. 3D printer.
3D printer, yeah, I get it. But like, are you going resin or are you going one? So Area 51, George is saying I just printed 2 chassis. George, I think I got to text you because I got this idea that I can't really get to fruition.
Just stop giving everyone else's ideas.
Luck,
no, it's my idea. You guys can get to fruition. I'll take 10%. I don't care.
Why don't you take one of your ideas to completion?
Guys, I don't have time. I got a race. Who's got time for this? I got a race.
We've seen the ideas that he puts together. There's always a fire extinguisher involved.
You talk about spaghetti track. What about spaghetti wiring that's on your track? I see this still. It's like some mad guy who's ripped a whole.
I know, that's one of my projects. I got to clean that up.
Yeah.
I got scared
maybe I have an idea for you. Clean up your track. Clean up the wiring. Yeah.
I was just gonna get like a Porsche flag or something and just put it right in front so you just don't see the wires. I mean, that's just it's just the way to do it. No, I got to get this power supply underneath the table properly.
Oh, there you go. Switch. So next week when we come back, 2 weeks from now.
Next week.
2 weeks from now when we come back, I want to see the progress on that idea of yours.
Okay, Amazon. Buy Slot Car flag. Hide wires.
Yeah, table skirt. How much?
Yeah, no, I already got the table skirt. No, I just got to make a flat, just a little shelf underneath so I can put the power supply. I've had people. I'm scared because the variable actual controller is exposed, and the other day somebody knocked it over. So it was like
helping yourself. He's just digging a deeper hole. Just come back in 2 weeks and show us your new over-the-top solution of how to handle wiring, because that's what's going to happen.
Overcomplicated solution.
I came up with this liquid-cooled way of keeping my wires all intact, and look, it's got this beautiful blue glowing
wireless wires, guys. Wireless wires. That's the future. I'm developing a wireless wire. And that's how we're going to do it.
You can do it at home too, as long as you have access to industrial electrical supplies.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, my last video on how to do jumpers, I'm like, how do I do it? How do I explain not to do a terminal block? And I'm like, oh yeah, Moretz. I'm like, why didn't I just do this? Why did I have to? It's
wire
Moretz.
nuts.
They're called Moretz.
I have a simpler solution.
Moretz.
No, simpler.
Wire nuts? That sounds inappropriate.
Yeah.
Zip ties. Thank you. Zip ties. Perfect. Just don't throw water on. I know, but we drink.
Zip ties for everything.
George, we drink when we race, so I have to be very, very careful. Pete, I saw that in your hand. Let's change the subject.
Yeah. I did a 3-minute Thursday yesterday with launch. Sort of showed off a bunch of my little pieces that are coming to Etsy soon. But just this week, I designed some pretty cool things. They weren't quite ready for prime time yet, but I'm going to show them off anyway. But I've got some billboards I'm making. So these are the first two that are ready to roll. They assemble with screws, just like the Pit Garages. Super simple, no paint needed. Slap them together. They'll be on Etsy soon. I'm planning on end of the month, but yeah, these are staying here at Gerard's house.
Bring the are those your supports, the legs?
Yeah.
Can you put that closer? Those are good. I like those.
Yeah, they're growing on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they look rad. That looks really cool, dude. That looks really, really cool. And it's got the Pete patented easy screw in.
Yeah, you keep trying to come up with some kind of catchy
I don't
name
know
for that,
why.
and it's not working. So
Pete's easy screw. Magnum Pete's easy screw.
yeah, we'll keep that is so bad for so many reasons. Like
But that's the thing about your products. They're easy to put together, right? Like no glue
Yeah.
required.
But yeah, no, it is like on the back there, just 4 screws.
Yeah,
Slap
perfect.
together. After you open the box, it's on your track, ready to roll in about 5 minutes. So
Yeah, Magnum Pete's Easy Solutions. It's awesome, man. Toju's asking, what's the name of your Etsy store?
Show me slot cars. Real original. It's not up yet. Well, I mean, it exists. So if you search it on Etsy, it'll come up, but there's no products on there yet. I am shooting for. So in the 3-minute Thursday, I mentioned that I'm prepping for a swap meet. There's a local swap meet in St. Louis that I'm going to do the sort of unofficial in-person launch of the of some of the smaller products and that sort of thing. And I'm probably going to launch the Etsy store on the same day. So it's March 2nd. So I'm shooting for that in a month. That gives me 2 more weeks to get. I have all the photos taken for Etsy. I just need to.
I love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Train of thought with that comment, but that's true. I do. But yeah, it should be end of the month is what I'm shooting for. I was hoping to get it done this weekend and actually talk about it more today on the show. But yeah, in beefing up the stock to prep for the swap meet so that I don't sell out, in either the Etsy or at the swap meet at the same time. I got a little bit behind schedule. So about 2 weeks, I think it's 2 weeks from tomorrow is the swap meet, and I'm shooting for that weekend or the Friday before to launch Etsy as well. But I'll put it all over a 3-minute Thursday and a post in the Discord and all that. So stay tuned there.
That brings me to something, and I know that everyone's looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. That's for sure. I want to litter my track with your scenery for sure and keep it in the same vibe and theme as your garages. But on that note, hey, Lego Den, nice, thanks for joining us, buddy. Really, really appreciate it. On that note, for your machine, you have been nonstop with your Bamboo Labs, correct? You have a Bamboo Labs 3D printer?
Yeah, I have 2 of them.
Yeah. Oh, you have 2 of them. Okay, so they're both taking they're sharing the load on both. Yeah. What's been the major any difficulties? What's been the major problem right now with those 2? What problems have you run into? Is what I'm trying to say.
None.
I knew that was coming.
I mean, the only thing that sometimes happens is since I when I start printing, I am just I'm just rolling, keeping them going, and I sometimes forget to clean the build plate because every once in a while you just gotta clean it, and so. Every once in a while a print will start and it won't stick to the build plate. But that's 1 out of every, 10 or 15, maybe more than that, probably 20 prints started. So if I just got to get a clicker or something because I forget how many I've done since the last time I cleaned it. Because sometimes it's a day that I get, 24 hours, I get 10 prints started on that thing. And sometimes it's 4 or 5 days, and then I forget when the last time I cleaned it. And the only way I remember to clean it right now is when something stops sticking, and then I take them upstairs, I scrub them down real good, and then bring them back down.
Okay, no special product on that. It's just a soap and water.
I use Dawn dish soap.
There you go. Okay, and running out of filament, I think, is your only other.
Yeah. I'm pretty famous for that. But I'm ordering from. I was ordering on Amazon Elegoo filament, and it's great. It's inexpensive, and Amazon delivers it to my house the next day. But I'm switching to bamboo filament because they get it to my house in 3 days, and it's just much easier to use with the AMS, the multi-material thing, because it scans the RF code. It like without having to change anything, it knows exactly what material it is, what color it is, and it just goes. So, and when you buy more than 4 at a time, it's cheaper than the cheapest one I could find on Amazon. So, pretty sweet deal.
Right on, brother. I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there because, you know, anybody who's looking for 3D printing, and I think Bamboo Labs right now, you're like the third person I know. And I think Raul was looking at the same.
Prusa just came up with theirs too. So
there's a lot more coming, like being launched every week, every month that are in that like kitchen appliance level where it's like just plug and play, just go. So there's a lot more. Like Bamboo set the bar, and now a lot of brands are hitting it, and it's
the only thing that everyone's complaining about with Bamboo is they're going with their own slicer now, so you have to use the Bamboo slicer. They're going proprietary, so that's what everyone's in an uproar.
They've always done it that way. There was one other slicer that you could use with it easily, and it was just like a peel off of the Bamboo one. I understand both sides of it. I don't really care.
I think it's fine. I think it's fair.
Harry's joined us. Harry's joined us. He's actually come back from a play that he's been part of, which I think is pretty awesome. He played Baby Jesus, so that's pretty awesome, Harry.
What?
That you got the part? Yeah, he had to be in the manger, and they said he had the biggest, you know, the cutest baby face possible. So, anyways, that's what he was telling me yesterday. So,
what?
You can imagine George's Baby Jesus would be awesome. I think that's pretty awesome. Just letting him know. I mean, I've got a 3D printer upstairs, but it's still broken. You
don't have a 3D printer upstairs. You have something that looks like a 3D printer. We don't know if it works.
I don't know how it works. I thought, you know, maybe I'll just sell that and get a Bamboo Lab. But again, going back to the Fusion, I wanted to learn the Fusion first before doing anything, because I have this idea that I think Slot kind of killed, because he said something about Slotted having those pre-made chassis, something like that. But that wasn't my point.
We're like we're like hour 45.
They want to get racing. Can you stop?
If we don't wrap it up here and
no, it's fine. I've been trying. I just wanted to get. I wanted to have.
I can see Gerard
G
just
Money
wants
Smackdown
to get down
in the
to
Discord.
track.
You guys haven't joined the Discord.
He wants to take over the lead on this next race. Come on, let them get to it.
Yeah, let's do it, because I want to see you guys on the Discord. I want to see a brother versus sibling rivalry here, bro versus bro.
You can take notes on how to drive, Joe.
What?
We'll probably, to be honest, we'll probably do it later today. We'll send a note out in Discord.
There you go.
Because I'm gonna get if I don't meet up with the rest of the family.
It's funny how the pineapple trend started with me, huh, Joe?
Yeah, I know. That's why I took it out. It was also a bet that someone said that I wasn't going to do. So, anyways, revenge will be mine, Joe. Sorry, Harry. I'm going to get it. If you guys, what I wanted to say before is, I think it was Dennis Osborne said that he had subbed to, I think I got a question here, so I don't forget it. He had subbed to Big Oak. Guys, if you see a new channel in the chat, please go check everyone out. Clearwater 124. He's doing some really great stuff. You know, if you've never seen Marty before, or George Area 51, most of these guys up here have their own YouTube channels. Please help and support each other in the community. Anybody new, anybody who's been around, it's always appreciated from us and from them, right? We're just trying to grow and show everyone's tracks and show how everyone else does their how they slot car, right? There's no wrong way to slot car. And Pete says, you know, your track your way, my track my way, which is great, even though your little brother is kind of looking up to you.
But... I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, and Raul says every time you eat a pineapple, you grow wings
already.
For stuff. I don't know, whatever.
Man, just rambling for the sake of rambling at this point.
We're clearly getting to getting close to the 2 hour mark.
I'm just like, my brain is mush. It was mush starting.
Your brain is always mush. Anyway, let's stop.
The track on the floor is the GRL. Also, I want to say to everyone who has been participating and watching the GRL, we've got a lot of fanatic followers, if you will, a lot of regulars who are following GRL. I really, really appreciate that. Jen and I will be doing our run on Monday. That's it. Marty is on Tuesday. Jen and I do Monday Madness on Monday. Wednesday, I don't think there's anybody. Thursdays, shenanigans every second week. Fridays is the Slot Car Crew with Nico and Harry. Saturdays is our show every second week with.
You forgot
and then-
Eric Wildman's on Thursday as
yeah,
well.
Eric Wildman's Thursdays.
And they also have the Australian slot car guys
show's back
that
up,
show
yeah.
up as well.
Yeah, guys, we can tune in. There's a lot more content happening from when I started, and I think this is really, really awesome. And I appreciate everybody coming in, hanging out with us, and I appreciate all you Trekkies out there. And George, expect some messages from me. And and I wanna go to Gerard G Money Smackdown. Is there anything
Okay,
you
that's
want?
enough. All right.
Is there anything you got the track? Congratulations. And is there anything you want to say to end the show?
Yeah, no, just thanks. Thanks for having me this morning, and yeah, I'll see you all in Discord. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, that's great. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll press the end, guys. It's been an hour and a half. You guys are awesome.
Yeah,
have a good
great
one.
crowd
Have a great
all the way
weekend.
through. Thanks so much.
You guys are awesome. Thank you for listening to Joe ramble. On.
Yeah, we apologize.
Yeah, we do profusely.
Okay, I'm pressing end. Bye. Bye.